Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
We're all here, or half of us are here, huh?
Three of us anyway.
Let me just pause the recording.
Yeah, and how do you raise your hand, Tatiana?
You don't need to raise your hand, Dale. You can just go like this.
You have an open mic.
Hello,
All right.
welcome to the Needham Commission on Disabilities monthly meeting. Today is June 16, 2020, and we're conducting our very first Zoom board commission meeting. I would like to, for the panelists to introduce themselves so that everybody gets to know everybody. Dale, why don't we start with you?
Okay, Dale Wise.
Carol?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Carol Thomas. I'm the secretary of the NCOD.
Hi, I'm Babs Moss, a member.
Julie?
I'm Elaine Saunders, co-chair.
Hi everybody, Julie Muse-Fisher. I'm the representative from Needham Public Schools.
Jeannie?
Jeannie Martin, co-chair.
Manny?
Monty Iron, member.
And Corrine?
Corrine Burke, member.
Thank you. And so I'm Tatiana Swanson. I am the town liaison and the ADA coordinator. And I'm so happy to see everybody. And so let's get started. First item on the agenda is a grant application. And up first is David Summergrant, president of the Needham Diversity Initiative. And I'm going to allow David to come in and speak to us. David, can you hear us?
He's on mute.
He's on, yeah.
I'm going to ask him to unmute now.
Okay, how's that?
Perfect.
Okay, and you, can you see me or?
I
Not
can't
yet.
see you, but that's okay. Actually, as a member of the public, we won't be able to turn on your video,
Okay.
but we can hear you.
I mean, I put on a clean shirt and everything. So, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, first of all, to meet with all of you and to say how much we appreciate the work that the Needham Commission on Disabilities does. It's a very important function for all of us in the town. We're here, the Needham Diversity Initiative has a mission of trying to work to make Needham a more inclusive, diverse community. We run a number of events each year, and we co-sponsor events with the Needham Free Public Library, with the Needham Human Rights Committee, and a number of other organizations, the Needham Interfaith Clergy Association as well. And so in this particular instance, a few months ago, we were able to invite a special guest, Lillian Elmore, who was a senior. She just graduated, a senior at Lexington High School. Lillian is a remarkable person, an extraordinary person who has a number of physical challenges in her life. She's got cerebral palsy, and she's 98% of the time working in a motorized chair, and has a number of challenges to daily life and school and everything else. And she's a remarkable student, a remarkable person. She won the Miss Amazing USA competition last fall, she sees as her career goal being an advocate for others with special needs. And so, and I got to know her when she was a student at the summer program called Explode, which is held at Wellesley College. So she was invited to come speak. And of course, then she was going to be at the library in Needham. The quarantine happened and COVID-19 happened. And so we were able to come up with an alternate date and do, like yourselves tonight, our first Zoom event. We had over 65 or 70 participants, and Lillian walked us through her presentation, which we were able to record and is located on both the Public Library website and the Needham Diversity Initiative website, which is cleverly called needhamdiversity.org. So the event has already happened. So at the time, we were in the process of applying for this grant, but but there were a few months, I guess, where you weren't able to meet. So here we are, after the fact, letting you know that it was a successful event. It's available to the public. It's available to the public schools. And we would appreciate if you're able to fund the grant after the fact. I don't actually know if that's allowed, but I did want to share the news about that event with you.
How much are you asking in the grant? How much?
We provided Lillian with an honorarium of a speaker fee of $200.
Yeah. So the request is to reimburse for the $200. And I did send everybody a link to the recording, and hopefully you were all able to listen. It was really something.
Right. She's heading off to college. She's taking a year, but she's around if we ever want to have her in person or Zoom again with us.
Okay.
Is she set up for more than one session? Or is this, are you asking for the 200 for the one time, or
that was for the
is
one?
this
That
going to be
was
like
for
a
one.
series?
The 200 was for the one session. Sorry.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. That was a
Anybody
great
have-
summary and overview. Are there any more questions for David about the talk or the application? Yep. Jeannie?
Well, not a question for David, but I don't believe I got a link to the recording. When did that go out?
I can resend it to you. I
Okay.
sent it a week or 2 weeks ago, within the last couple of weeks.
Okay. It
Did
may have,
anybody else? Yep. I will resend it.
I'm thrilled that there is a recording of it so it can be used multiple times. That was really smart.
I have to say, Lillian was thrilled also. We didn't know how she'd feel about having it used more than once, and her whole goal is that she wants to reach more people. So she would also love. The intent was to have her visit the schools at some point. Obviously, that couldn't happen this spring, but maybe next fall.
Babs?
I think this is right up our alley with our goals, and what we should be doing is reaching out to people, educating people about people with different disabilities. You have to excuse me, it's been a long time since I've been talking, like this. I think I'd like to make a motion that we support, that we approve the grant money.
Second.
Well, I think technically we'll have the vote after we finish talking with David. This is a time to ask him questions.
Well,
Yeah.
David,
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm sorry, was there another question?
No, I think that we've been, you've informed us nicely, and what we'll do afterwards is, talk about it and take a vote, and Carol can let you know.
Mm-hmm.
David,
I'll get back in
I
touch with
don't
you.
see any problem.
David, what was the date of the event?
That's a great question. It was supposed to be March 15th, and we actually held the event. I have to go back and look at my calendar. It was April 14th, I believe.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that was it.
Yep, April 14th. Thank you.
Tell me, what is she doing now? What is she? Is she still?
She graduated from Lexington High School this past week, I believe, and she is taking a gap year before heading off to college. And she's going to continue doing public speaking and advocacy. I think she sees that as a long-term career goal, but she's already able to do that now.
Good for her. Anybody else have any questions?
Oh, I see Debbie's here too. Debbie, I'm bringing you in case you want to ask any questions. Does anybody else have any other questions for David and his grant application?
I'm sorry. I have one question, and it's really just looking towards the future. Are there other individuals that you've been thinking about that this format might work for? Because it seems like it's a really good idea.
I have somebody else in mind. Rosie Doherty is, I think now she's 23 years old. When she has a terrific presentation and story that she tells. I've invited her. I've been a school principal and I've had her to my school several times. Rosie has a seizure disorder and a diagnosis of autism, and her parents were told when she was very small that she would never learn to speak or go to school. She's in college currently, so she talks about her journey as a person with autism, and it's both informative. I've had her speak to educators and to parents, and she's another person to come in, I think, who can really open a door for people into understanding someone who faces challenges, overcomes them, and gives hope to lots of people.
Great story.
I can send you, Carol, I can send you a link about Rosie if you want to see that. And we haven't
Sure.
set up an event yet, but I'll be happy to send that.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Thank you.
Great.
I especially think that Zoom lends itself well for those types of talks where they can be memorialized and saved to different websites so everyone can access them at their leisure.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions for David or any other comments regarding the grant application?
It looks like Debbie has joined us.
Yes, I noticed that she was in the attendee, so I brought her in case she wants to ask any questions.
Okay, great.
Okay, well, David, thank you so much for your application.
Thank you. I appreciate the time and appreciate the work that you do. Please let me know if there are any other questions. And Carol, as I said, I'll send you that link for Rosie Doherty.
All right, that sounds great. And thanks for the overview. And we want to stay connected with you and the Needham Diversity Initiative.
Fantastic. Please
You
all
do great
stay
work
well.
as well. Thank you.
Take care. Thank
Yep.
you.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, up next on the agenda is Julie Muse-Fisher. Did I say that right? From the Needham she's the Needham Public Schools Executive Director of Special Education. Julie?
Hi, I'm going to just take 1 minute. I was going to have 2 staff member from the program join me, so I'm going to send a quick text and then I'll jump into the overview of the grant request, if that's okay. Just 1 moment.
Mm-hmm.
Tatiana, would you be able to let the 2 people in if I give you their names, or how does that work?
Well, they will have to log into the Zoom conference, and then I can allow them to speak once they're in attendance.
Perfect. Okay, just give me 1 moment.
Sure.
And while she's doing that, I sent the link to the Lillian Elmore presentation with the minutes that I forwarded on June 8th. So did you all get that? It was a resend of the February minutes since it had been so long, and then I included the link. Did everybody get that email from me on June 8th?
I did. I just found it while we were speaking. So,
okay.
And it was sent to all the members of the NCOD.
Yep.
Probably
and if you don't have it, Jeannie, I'm happy to resend it to you.
I think I do have that.
What are you referring to, the minutes?
Yeah, I sent an email on June 8th with a copy of the minutes. And then I also included the link to the Lillian Elmore Zoom presentation. So it was just below the minutes.
Oh, well, maybe that's.
Yeah. So I was doing 2 things in one email. It was the minutes plus the link. Yep. So so that's where it is. And it is also on the Needham Diversity Initiative website. But it's worth a listen. Use something.
I think it's a wonderful program. It sounds like, it's like Bab said, it's right up something that is in line with our mission.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready when you guys are. Just let me know.
Okay, so is it Mary Ricci?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to bring her in right now.
Okay.
And is there a second person?
Yeah, her name is Kate, and she'll be joining in just a couple minutes. I can start, and Mary is our program's board certified behavior analyst, and then Kate is the special education teacher in the program.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out for Kate. Oh, there she is. Actually, I'll bring her in.
Okay, so Mary and Kate are here. Thank you both for joining me to do this. Okay, so I've submitted a grant proposal to support with acquiring the materials and supplies for our Intensive Learning Center program, which is going to be at Pollard Middle School this year. Currently, the program is at High Rock, and it kind of ended there. And so through the budget process this year, we made a very comprehensive plan in terms of how we want to grow the program so it's aligned across the district and make sure that we can continue to meet students' needs as they move through middle school. We were able to secure budget staffing positions through the process. And now we're at the point of setting up the space. Unfortunately, we are not able to move some of the materials from High Rock, our standalone 6th grade school. So that's when we began to kind of seek the expertise of Mary and Kate about what the students require in the program. And just a little bit of an overview, it is a specialized program. Currently, there are 5 students going to be starting in the program in September. The program is staffed by Kate, who is a special education teacher, our BCBA, Mary Ricci, and we have 4 teaching assistants. The students are identified for special education purposes as having a primary disability on the autism spectrum disorder, and have a wide variety of special education needs, including support with communication, behavior, academics. I'm going to let Kate speak a little bit to that after I've kind of finished my presentation. And so as we're thinking about supporting our students, there are a lot of sensory needs, and if you had a chance to review the application, a lot of the materials are those types of sensory materials. What we really love about this program is that we are able to keep students in our public school system who may often in other places without the proper staffing and support not be able to be in the district. And I think that comports nicely with the NCOD's mission in terms of, you know, providing access to individuals with disabilities in the community. We also strive to make sure that even within the specialized programming, students are a life, you know, part of the life of the school and have access to extracurriculars and all of the other specials and other aspects of the school community. And that is done with a lot of support and staffing and thoughtful planning to just make sure that students are able to access and navigate the building with the supports that they need to be successful. So I think I'm going to stop there.
What is the age span?
Our cohort that we're planning for this year is a group of 7th graders. And all of these, everything that we're going to be purchasing will be with the program. So as the students then move into 8th grade, the program will be established. And we already have a program at the high school, kind of what the next step would be. The gap was really at Pollard. So when the students were moving from High Rock to Pollard, we noticed that we had a gap. And as we look at our younger students in the preschool and elementary, we have a lot of students in the district who have a similar profile, and we do an excellent job at our Sunita Williams Elementary School and the Newman Elementary School with these specialized programs. But the kind of the gap, if you will, was at the middle school. So that's why we're here today. One of the items on the list was kidney bean tables, and we were able to secure that from one of our other school buildings. So I'm taking that off the list. The total grant request with all of the items that our staff have identified as being needed, the request would be for $2,500. I understand that that may be a large request for NCOD, so we would also be grateful for any contribution. And then I'm going to work for the, you know, in terms of looking at what we can do to make sure we can provide everything we need for the program. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take those or allow Mary and Kate to provide a little bit more context.
So just Julie, so you said that you were able to secure the kidney tables. So is the 2,500?
Right, so
Go ahead.
with those removed. I think the total before was just under 3,000, and the cost of those kidney bean tables on the chart is 500 and something, so it's a little bit under 2,500 for the total. These price points were a lot of the things that we would be purchasing are through Amazon and WB Mason. So, you know, sometimes prices change, and you know, that's why I just picked the amount of 2,500, but that is less the 2 kidney bean tables that we had in the original grant proposal.
And all these materials will be suffice for the school year?
Yes, that is the plan, although, you know, that is an interesting point, given where we are with planning for reentry after the COVID situation. We are looking at school materials differently. We're going to obviously be needing to make sure we sanitize all of our materials that students use. And that's part of a larger conversation that we're doing in terms of risk management upon reentry. But yes, all of these, the expectation would be that they would be with this classroom group throughout the school year. And hopefully if they hold up, you know, some of the things, like dividers and study carrels are very solid and they should last for years. Some of the other items, depending on wear and tear, but the plan would be for them to be used in the program for years to come.
What is the ratio of students to teacher?
Kate, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the ratio is usually 1-to-1 for my guys. I know Mary can talk a little bit more about the demographic of the students in my room. However, their behavioral needs, as well as intense 1-to-1, specifically designed instruction does require that 1-to-1.
Is it considered an, you said it's a second grade, but is it more of an ungraded class?
It's not ungraded, but the curriculum is modified for the students to be able to access at their entry points. But it is 7th grade. Students receive progress reports and report cards. But it is, you know, it's very differentiated based upon the students' level of need and academic skills.
Julie, do you want me to go into a little bit about the students?
Sure, Mary, that would be great.
Okay, so as Julie was saying, we have 5 incoming 7th graders, 4 of which have severe autism and 1 has Down syndrome. Of those 5 students, 2 of them do use devices to communicate, so they have different programs on their iPad because they are unable to speak. Their challenging behaviors is, you know, a wide range, but kind of the bigger ones include things like aggression and bolting, non-compliance. We have 1 student who spits a lot during the day. One thing at High Rock that, you know, it was a new program at High Rock. So Kate and I kind of teamed up. We did the best we could to kind of meet their sensory needs, whether that was creating different you know, sensory items that we could. We did that. We also, you know, I used to go to Five Below last year and just kind of pick up different fidgets and things. But something that just moving forward, like Julie was saying, some of those bigger items and items that we didn't even have are just more expensive, that unfortunately it's not feasible to kind of continue that. And just the bigger thing, I just kind of want to piggyback to just creating just a really strong program for these students. I know for Kate too, and for myself, it's just huge keeping this population in district. Unfortunately, I think a lot of students do go out, and I just think this is such a great opportunity to keep this middle school kind of age group in their home community, you know, rather than sending them to a different school where a lot of it is to get these sensory needs and academic needs met.
It's a very important population to serve.
Yeah, as a parent with a child with Down syndrome, I agree. And my child was educated in the Needham public schools. So I definitely want to keep as many students in-house as we can.
do these students receive all of their academic services in this one classroom, or are they in other classrooms that just come to the special needs room periodically for services?
The majority of the day, sorry, Kate, I don't, you
Go
can
ahead,
speak
go ahead,
over
Mary.
that. Majority of the day they do spend in the smaller classroom. They spend most of the day in Kate's classroom. We do try to get them out to advisory. We do try to get them out to electives and the larger lunch group. Now, that being said, you know, they might go to an art class, whether that's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or the whole class. It really varies based on behavior and just kind of the space that they're in that day and that time.
And one thing just to be kind of to that point is that our IEPs, it's individualized education programs. And so everything is very individualized. And, you know, some students might spend a larger percentage of their day outside of the specialized program classroom, just depending on their specific individualized plan.
I have a question about the iPad. Does the school provide them or the family provide them?
So at the middle school, they're all given iPads. One of the students so the software are you talking, I'm assuming, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about the communication that I was.
Yeah, the communication, yeah.
Yeah. I know one of our students, we provided him with the iPad, and then their parents actually provided them with the software right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Is that included in your list of things? The iPad and
No, I don't think so. I didn't see that.
No, nope. It's really all hard materials, furniture and sensory equipment, puzzles and activities that the students can engage with, water beads, theraputty, yoga balls and bean bags. One thing we find really important for all of our students in every classroom is kind of the flexible seating opportunities. So that's where you'll see kind of the yoga balls, different students have different core strength. So that we don't have any technology on this list.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of
I'm very glad to see that the Needham is establishing this type of a classroom rather than sending the students on to another town, that we were able to provide for them.
Yeah, that is a big priority of our department, is making sure that we have as many students, the majority of our students, educated within our public school system. And we really do, we're fortunate, we do a nice job. We have a lot of different specialized programming. So I'm happy to be in a place where we all share the same vision of making sure students have access to their home schools and community in Needham.
I have a question. Once this population moves to the high school, what does it look like behind them with other cohorts?
That's a great question, Corinne. We do have we have the program in, you know, it's fully established actually at the elementary level as well as at the preschool. We're in good shape, but the cohorts will be traveling up. At, you know, exactly. Maybe in 1 year there might be 5 students moving up, and the next year only 2. But we do have a solid cohort of students in the program, that style of programming. Again, everything's very individualized based upon the students' needs. But this is a program that we have really committed to, and it's strong. And I know you are all familiar with the Sunita Williams building, and that program is there at the elementary level, and it's phenomenal in the new space. They've done a really nice job. So we're just trying to kind of close that gap in the middle school.
Excellent.
Julie, thank you for sending that additional information too. That was really helpful in visualizing your objectives for the program.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for kind of clarifying what would be helpful. And I'm really grateful to Mary and Kate for joining me tonight. Thank you for taking some time to help describe the program.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having us.
No problem.
I do have a question. If we're not, and I don't know what our financial situation is, but if we're not able to fund the entire 2,500, are there some of these items on the list that are more of a priority than others?
Oh, that's a really great question. I think I would defer to the teacher, Kate and Mary. You could probably identify that.
I mean, I would say the cubbies and the dividers are probably our top priority. I know a lot of our students have difficulty with distractions in the environment, and they really benefit from not being able to see outside of their own little cubby space while doing academic work. So I think we would prioritize those, and then Mary and I could kind of go through the sensory items and really see which ones we think are most applicable for our group.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important to try to get as much as we can initially to set the class up as much as we can at the beginning. So we'll see. Mm-hmm.
Thank you all so much for your consideration. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what we'll do is we'll discuss this and we'll give the feedback to Julie. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, Jeannie, do you want to move us on to the chairperson's report?
Well, the most important thing is to discuss and vote on the 2 grant applications.
Yep, that's first up on the chairperson's report.
Tatiana, what do we have in the fund at the present time?
You know, I don't have it right in front of me, but I believe it's a little shy of $8,000.
8?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because we really haven't had anybody that has applied for grants all year, and
for a few years, actually.
I'm very glad that this has come about now. Do we want to take one at a time?
Yes.
Yes, let's start with the diversity initiative. Any comments? Any objections to this one?
No.
No.
I move that we give them the $200 to pay for, was it Rosie?
Lillian Elmore.
Lillian Elmore, okay. I move that we fund the diversity program for $200.
Any objections?
No.
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 I second it.
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great.
Okay.
Money well spent.
Yeah.
I do have to say, Carol, I don't know if David submitted to you, but we do not have a written application from him. Oh, you're muted.
Carol, we can't hear you.
You're muted.
Sorry, the dog was barking. We do have the application, Tatiana. I did forward it to you. It was back in February, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we do have a written application.
I'll dig it up.
Yep. I'm happy to re-forward it to you. Yep.
All lost in COVID, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I will get to work in that disbursement of funds.
Okay, and I'll let him know. He's actually already replied to me, thanking us for our time and wanted me to pass on thanks to the committee. And he's forwarded the links for Rosie Doherty already. So.
Now, Tatiana, my understanding is we have to pass these grants on to the selectmen, and they will vote on them.
Yes. So your decision has to be we have to make them aware and then have them sort of bless the grant approval.
Okay.
Great. The more people that hear about it, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So Tatiana, do you see any problems there?
I do not. So I'll work on getting that on the agenda and running it through the proper channels, and when it's approved, working on the disbursement of funds.
Great. On to the second proposal. We have $8,000. Are we comfortable with spending
I'm
500?
I feel it's very feel it's very important that
I'd like
we start
fully
the
funded.
school year.
I'd like to see them fully
I
funded.
I feel very strongly
So do
that
I.
we start the school year.
Yeah, I initially, in reading the proposal, was not pleased with the way it was presented, but in the back of my mind, I have an idea of what a person with a disability is, but I sort of forgotten that autism and some other learning disabilities are considered severe disabilities. And if they're in the classroom together most of the time, I think we ought to fund the $2,500 and get all the things they need so that these kids can have as much of a productive academic life as possible.
Agreed.
Yeah. I have a personal bias on this day because I have a very good friend whose son goes to Sunita Williams, and he loves the program there, and he feels his son is benefiting a lot from it.
Great. Any other thoughts?
Yeah. No, I am so glad that this has come about now. Yeah.
Babs?
These times are really hard right now, especially for funding of different programs and going on in the town with the school and everything else. I'm so glad that we can do this for this project.
I'll move that we fund $2,500 for this program of the SPED department.
Is that the exact amount? Do we need an exact number? Or we're just gonna say,
I'll second it. Yeah.
Julie, is that do we have an exact dollar amount?
I can get you the exact calculation. Let me do that right now on my calculator here. Taking out the kidney bean tables.
So the motion is to fund
the request. Yep.
Approximately 2,500. Do we have a second?
I think Elaine did.
I seconded.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, excellent.
The exact total, if anyone wants to take it down from the tally, is $2,483.93. Again, $2,483.93. So that's, again, we used kind of what the price point was on Amazon and WB Mason at the time when we put this together. So if it's easier to round it up or down to 2480 or 2485, every penny of it is going to go to that classroom.
Okay.
Is there any shipping costs or any handling costs? Or
I don't even know. That's a great idea. That's why we just kind of did the round,
Maybe we need to word this that we are spending approximately. Tatiana, how does it?
I think we should add some more money in there.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we should say maybe 2,600, up to 2,600, depending on what the invoices come in at.
Yeah, I think up to 2,600 makes sense as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you so much. This means so much to us. I'm really excited, and I think in this time when we're readjusting to what's happening with COVID and trying to figure out our transferring funds to our PPE to make school safe, to be able to do this for the program is just so exciting. So I'm beyond grateful.
Oh, this is phenomenal.
Well, thank you.
It makes us
Thank
feel
you for
good.
bringing it
Thank
to
you.
our attention.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Okay, moving on. The sad news for us, but exciting for Elaine, that she will be retiring.
I don't know if that's the right descriptive word.
Exciting?
No.
It's bad for us.
It's just, yeah, well, it's you know, something that's, I just felt that this is the time. It's been very, extremely rewarding. And I'm still here, still in Needham, still available. And, you know, I'm leaving it in good hands. And Corrine, I'm sure, I know will be doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
And everybody, it's just so worthwhile.
It is.
In fact, I was talking to somebody before I left, and so I said, she said, how long is your meeting? She says, oh, that's a long. I said, well, we have every input. She says, you certainly do, not like some other groups. So I said, you know, it's very, very rewarding. So,
Well, it goes without saying, we're super sad to see you go, Elaine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll miss you, Elaine.
I have this,
I'm still here.
I have this from Hallmark. It's not mine, but I thought it was very fitting for me to read to you, Elaine. May you be proud of the work you have done, the lady you are, and the difference you have made.
Very good.
Well said.
Hallmark.
So we want to send you off in style when we can all be together. So we're going to delay our official send off until September, if you're willing to come back to a meeting in September.
Oh, please, of course.
As a
And I
guest.
want to tell you that I put this through in before the pandemic. It was right before, so it wasn't a case of, you know, the pandemic made me say, well, I that's it. So I've been thinking about it, and 29 years, a lifetime. So 29 years from 1991.
Seems like just yesterday, Elaine.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we can't thank you enough for all you've done for our commission and for everyone in town.
Hopefully we can
and
do
we'll
the.
be calling on you.
You know, when you give, you get back, and that's how we feel. When you give, you get back.
Hopefully we can do the send off in the library.
Yeah.
I would like nothing better than that, Manny.
I know.
No, Mandarin cuisine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a
Nice,
better
Mandarin
idea.
cuisine. Yep.
As I say, I'm here. So
We have 3 months
I'm
to sort
always
out
available.
exactly how we're going to do it. So we will do something in September for certain. Excellent.
Yeah, that's fine. Very appreciated.
Okay, let's move right along to the minutes from February.
Okay, so I distributed them via email and I will read them now. Needham Commission on Disabilities monthly meeting, February 18th, 2020, community room, Needham Public Library. Present, Elaine Saunders, co-chair, Carol Thomas, secretary, Babs Moss, member, Dale Wise, member, Tatiana Swanson, town liaison, Corinne Bark, member, Carol Harmon, police department liaison. Absent, Jeannie Martin, co-chair, Manny Iyer, member, Julie Muse Fisher, school department liaison, Debbie Heller, member. Chairperson's report. The advocacy calls. A discussion of Needham Grant Program with Deborah Cook, who was a member of Wilbraham, Mass. COD. Elaine reported that Wilbraham is just starting their grant program, and she spoke with Deborah about our program. Deborah wanted to know historically and practically what we do and don't do. She had good questions, which Elaine answered. Elaine notified the committee that she will be submitting her resignation effective June 30th, 2020. The minutes of the January 21st, 2020 meeting were read and approved with corrections. ADA liaison report. Access monitoring of the Jack Cogswell building and Mitchell modular classrooms. Babs reported that she and Tatiana visited the Jack Cogswell building on February 5th, 2020 to do the walkthrough. They were given a tour by Stephen Gentile, the project manager. Babs distributed their report, which is attached to the minutes. Report was approved as amended. Next Thursday at noon, Babs and Tatiana will do the walkthrough of the Memorial Park Fieldhouse and bring the draft report to the March meeting. Follow up on the MOD grant. Lynn Sheff contacted Tatiana after our last meeting and found out that her application never reached the MOD and thus was never considered. She had a conversation with Carl Ryan on February 7th. He recommended she resubmit in August, which she plans to do. We also found out that the Department of Health and Human Services has submitted a request for an ADA compliant consultant. They will engage a vendor to come in and assess the facility at the CAF. Town of Needham will address the issue and the door she initially raised. Review of the Needham self-evaluation status. Tatiana conducted a search for the files and the players previously involved to find the town's latest self-evaluation and transition plan. She determined that there was a Town of Needham plan in 1993. It was updated in May 2008. The input from the departments are outdated and need to be updated, along with getting information from new departments. Current plan tells the story of what was found, but doesn't really articulate a transition plan. Dale's understanding is that the town has to do a transition plan every 10 years and file with the state. There should be a plan for anything not in compliance that could be. NCOD should support the town effort and act in an advisory capacity. The update of the self-evaluation and the development of a transition plan should be addressed with the town manager, Kate Fitzpatrick. Tatiana will talk with the town about next steps and a plan to make the necessary updates. Note, need to follow up with Manny to check and see if he had a chance to review the website and see if it is ADA compliant per the action item from our January meeting. Note, Tatiana will follow up with the library to make sure the handicap parking spot lines are updated per our previous agreement. Updates. School department, Julie was on vacation, no update this month. HP parking, Debbie was absent and there was no report to share this month. Diversity. Carol shared that Lillian Elmore, a senior at Lexington High School who has cerebral palsy, will be giving an inspirational talk on empowerment, living with disabilities, accessibility, and all challenges. She will be speaking on April 14th at the community room in the Needham Library on April 14th from 7 to 9 p.m. Carol will share that we have grant money available to support this if NDI would like to apply. Downtown Streetscapes / local emergency planning workshop. Dale was unable to attend the LAPC meeting last Monday. No downtown streetscapes at the moment. Tatiana shared that the rave alert is now called Alert Needham. Text the word quote Needham to 67283 and get immediately signed up. Planning for the next meeting, March 17th, 2020. Meeting adjourned, 6:49 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Carol Thomas.
Carol, I noticed on the minutes I printed off, where it says Tatiana shared.
Yep, there was a typo that I just fixed. Yep.
You just fixed.
Yep, I got that. Yep, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else that you noticed?
No.
Okay.
I move that we accept the minutes as corrected and read.
All in
I
favor?
second that. Aye.
Aye, all right. Tatiana, I'll send them off to you.
Good job.
Okay.
Okay, Tatiana.
Okay, so Babs and I, let me see if I can share this on my screen so everybody can see it because we did not distribute it ahead of time. But I'll try. So, sorry, my internet access is a little faulty now, but trying to see if I can put up the report. So Babs and I went to the Memorial Park Fieldhouse on February 27. Feels like a lifetime ago now. But we met with Mike Ratsky, who is the project, who was the project manager for that renovation. And he walked us through the building. And if I can get this up, I will show you in a minute the write-up. Here we go.
So you have the write-up that we can attach to the minutes?
Yes, and I will send that to
Okay.
you. I was just wanted to
Perfect.
show you.
Yep.
But it's not pulling up. Sorry, my internet is like struggling. But Babs actually put this together. So thank you, Babs, for that.
Did it get checked out? Did Mike look it over, Tatiana?
I followed up with him, but he didn't reply to me, so I'm not really sure if he actually had a chance. Can everybody see my screen?
No.
No,
It says you've started screen sharing, but it hasn't come through yet.
Oh, okay. Let's
Want me to?
27, 2020, Tatiana Swanson, ADA liaison, and Babs Moss, two representatives from the Needham Commission on Disabilities, and Michael Redsky, project manager for the Building and Design Construction Department, Town of Needham, did a walkthrough of the recent renovation of the Memorial Park Fieldhouse. We evaluated the bathrooms, function rooms, doorways, and the concession stand for accessibility. Can you guys see my screen now? Anybody? Can you guys see my screen? Hello? Can everyone hear me? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm not sure if you guys, can someone raise their hand if they can hear me? Okay, great. Okay. Thank you. Use of the field house can be organized into three categories. Trustees Assembly. The building is home and headquarters for the Memorial Park trustees and the American Legion Post 14. The second floor meeting areas are also used periodically by youth sport groups and other local organizations. Event support. From holiday celebrations to home games, the field house provides access to restrooms, visitor team storage rooms, and it houses a concession stand. The space is also used for staging large events and equipment distribution. 3, Parks and Forestry. The Parks and Forestry Division of the Town of Needham's Public Works Department stores large equipment and supplies in the lower level right side garage. Overall, the Commission on Disabilities members were very impressed with the accessibility of the building, which was an obvious primary consideration in the design. We observed unobstructed and accessible entryways and hallways, smooth thresholds, proper signage and visual alarms, and counters and fixtures placed at the recommended height for accessibility. The following observations were noted during the tour. These recommendations are being presented for consideration. 1. The doors at the entrance of the women's and men's restroom on the first and second floors close faster than the recommended 5 seconds from an open 90 degrees to a position of 12 degrees from the latch. It is recommended that the closing mechanism is adjusted. 2. The doors at the entrance of the women's and men's restroom on the first and second floor exceed the 5 pounds weight pressure maximum. It is recommended that the closing mechanism is adjusted. 3. On the women's and men's restroom on the first and second floors had hand dryers installed directly across from the sink. It is recommended that the hand dryers are relocated next to the sink. Number 4, the soap dispenser on the women and men's restroom on the first and second floors are located too close to the grab bars. There's a couple of typos that need to be fixed here. A clearance of 12 inches recommended. We thank you for the opportunity of visiting this wonderful project, which will bring many years of joy and service to the community. Sincerely, Babs Moss member, Tatiana Swanson, ADA liaison. I can't hear anything. I'm not sure what's going on. So one second. It's not muted. I can't hear. I did, yeah. For some reason, I can't hear you guys on the computer, but I just grabbed my phone so I can hear you.